Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Anuta, the Crochet World, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe to my channel, like, share and comment on my videos. And today we're going to do this beautiful pattern for a Jasmine stitch ball. It's a key ring and here it is. It looks like this. And for this particular project I have used my 100% cotton yarn, and for this one I've used 3.5 mm of the hook. Here it is. So let's begin. So here it is. We will start with a slip knot. So just have your yarn and have a slip knot here. Just like this. And now we're going to chain up 2 here. So chain up 2, 1 and 2. Here it is. Have this first 2 chains, and now we will work on this second chain from your hook. So we will work on this last chain. Now here we're going to have our puff stitch. So for that, just loosen up your work. Here we are working on our round number 1 right now. Just loosen up your work on your this hook, your this yarn on your this hook, and here we're going to have our first puff stitch into our this last chain. Now for the puff stitch we are going to yarn over for 3 times. So here it is. Yarn over for the first time and insert your hook into this last chain here and grab a yarn. Again, yarn over for the second time, insert your hook and grab a yarn. And yarn over for the third time and insert your hook into that same chain and grab a yarn. Here it is. And now you're going to have 7 loops on your hook. So here it is. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. You're going to have 7 loops on your hook. Now we will hold away this working yarn here with the help of your thumb and your the second finger. Just hold your yarn this way and now yarn over and pull your yarn through all of your the 7 loops here. And now you're going to create a little loop here on your this left hand side just because you hold it up this yarn while working. So here we're going to insert our hook into this little loop on your this left hand side. Here it is. And yarn over and pull your yarn through that 1 loop here, just like this. And now you're going to have your 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull your yarn through 2 loops, and this is your 1 single crochet. Here it is. And this is our round number 1 and it looks like this. And now we're going to repeat our this puff stitch pattern all the way on our this Jasmine stitch ball. Now here for our round number 2, we're going to have a cluster of this puff stitches. So we're going to create a cluster of 2 puff stitches and we will repeat our pattern for 3 times. So here it is. For the first time, as we're going to make our first cluster of 2 puff stitches, loosen up your work here just like this, and we are going to yarn over and we will insert our hook into our this single crochet, this one. So you're going to find your this gap here. So we're going to insert our hook into our this space here. So loosen up your work a little bit on your this hook, yarn over and insert your hook into this single crochet and grab a yarn. This is the first yarn over. Have a second yarn over and insert your hook again into that same single crochet and grab a yarn, and yarn over for the third time and insert your hook into the same space and grab a yarn. And here you're going to have 7 loops on your hook. And now we will not finish our this stitch. So don't finish your stitch and we are going to create a second loop here. So for that, turn your work. Now while working on this Jasmine stitch, always remember, for whatsoever Jasmine stitch you have been working on, you will always have to go on your this left hand side, and whenever you're having this clusters on your this Jasmine stitch, you're going to skip your this 1 puff stitch and you will always insert your hook after your this puff stitch. So we will go here into our this foundation chain. So here it is. We got our this first puff stitch. We are going to skip over this next puff stitch, and after this puff stitch we are going to find our this space here and we will insert our hook into our this space here. So here it is. We're going to have another 3 yarn overs here. We are going to make another puff stitch here. So for that, yarn over for the first time and have insert your hook into this space and grab a yarn here. Yarn over for the second time, insert your hook into this same space and grab a yarn. Yarn over for the third time, insert your hook into this same space and grab a yarn. And here it is. You're going to have another 6 loops on your hook. So here it is. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. You're going to have 6 loops, another 6 loops on your hook. So first you have the 7 loops and another 6 loops. In total you have 13 loops on your this hook. And now we are gonna create a cluster here. So we're gonna finish our stitch here. So for that, again, hold your this yarn just like this and yarn over and pull your yarn through all 13 loops like this, and you're gonna create a little loop here on your this left hand side. Again, insert your hook into this left hand side loop here, and now yarn over and pull your yarn through that one loop only here like this. And now you're gonna have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull your yarn through 2 loops, and this is your first cluster of 2 double crochets, and we're gonna repeat this pattern for another 2 times. So here it is. Again, loosen up your work. We're gonna have our first puff stitch here on this space. So here it is. It's 1, 2, and 3. We are going to have 7 loops on our hook. We will not finish up our this work. We will turn our work, and as always, we will skip our this next puff stitch on our this left hand side, and we will go to the space after that. So this is your space. We're going to insert our hook into this space. Now this is your foundation chain, and don't worry if your chain is loose here like this. We will fix that one later on, so don't worry about that. So here it is. Skip this next puff stitch, go to this space, and here you're going to have your another puff stitch. So yarn over for 3 times here. It's 1, 2, and 3. Here it is. And now again, you're going to have 13 loops on your hook. Yarn over, hold your this yarn with the help of your thumb and your finger. Hold your yarn like this, yarn over and pull your yarn through all of your 13 loops. Here it is. Creating a little loop here on your this left hand side. Insert your hook into this loop and yarn over and pull your yarn through 1 loop only. Here it is. And now yarn over and pull your yarn through 2 loops. So this is your second cluster of 2 puff stitches, and we're going to have another last cluster of this 2 puff stitches. So for that, loosen up your work here, yarn over 3 times. We're going to go to this space here. So it's 1, 2, and 3. We're going to have 7 loops on our hook. Skip your this next puff stitch and go after this puff stitch. So again, this is your foundation chain, and we are going to again work on this chain. So for that, yarn over for 3 times. So it's 1, 2, and 3. Here it is. And you're going to have another 6 loops on your hook. In total, you're going to have 13 loops on your hook. Again, hold your this working yarn with the help of your thumb and your finger like this, and now yarn over and pull your yarn through all 13 loops. Here it is. Creating a little loop here. Insert your hook into this little loop, grab your yarn over and grab your yarn and pull your yarn through that 1 loop only. You're going to have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull your yarn through 2 loops. And this is the end of your round number 2, and it looks like this. And now for our round number 3, we're going to have only one cluster of 3 puff stitches. So here again, for your round number 3, your first puff stitch will always be here, and your second puff stitch will be here, as we are going to skip over this next puff stitch and we will find our space here. So that's going to be here, and your third puff stitch will be after this. So skip your this next puff stitch and we will go to this space here. As I always said, skip your this puff stitch on this left hand side and find your space after that here. So we're going to have a cluster of 3 puff stitches. So here it is. Loosen up your work and yarn over for 3 times. We're going to insert our hook into this space. So it's 1, 2, and 3. Yarn over, skip this next puff stitch, go to this foundation chain and yarn over for 3 times here. So it's 1, 2, and 3. Yarn over, skip this next puff stitch, and we will go to this space here, and here we're going to have another 3 yarn overs, another puff stitch. So here it is. It's 1, 2, and 3. Here it is. So you're going to have another 6 loops on your this hook. So in total, you're going to have 19 loops on your this hook. Here it is. And now again, we will hold over this yarn. Here we're going to yarn over and we'll pull our yarn through all our 19 loops, and here it is. Now this is our little loop. We're going to insert our hook into this loop, grab your yarn, and you're going to have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull your yarn through 2 loops. And this is the end of our round number 3. Here it is. And now for your round number 4, we're going to have one cluster of 2 puff stitches only. So here it is. We are here. And now we're going to loosen up our work and we're going to create our first puff stitch here. We're going to skip over this next puff stitch and we're going to find our space here, and here we're going to have another puff stitch. So for that, yarn over 3 times in here. So it's 1, 2, and 3. You're going to have 7 loops in your hook. Skip this next puff stitch, find this space here, and have another 3 yarn overs here. So it's 1, 2, and 3. Another puff stitch here. And this is only one cluster of your this 2 puff stitches, and yarn over and pull your yarn through all of your loops. Insert your hook into the space, grab a yarn, and have 1 single crochet here. And this is the end of your round number 4. And here it is. Your work look like this. Now for your round number 5, we will have cluster of 3 puff stitches 3 times. So here it is. For your first cluster of 3 puff stitches, loosen up your work, yarn over 3 times into this space. So it's 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to skip over this next puff stitch. We are going to find our space here, and we will have our another puff stitch here. So yarn over 3 times, and we will skip over this next puff stitch, and we will go to this space here, and here we're going to have another puff stitch. So yarn over for 3 times. So it's 1, 2, and 3. And now we're going to have 19 loops on our hook. Yarn over and pull your yarn through all of this 19 loops. Here it is. And this is your little loop. Insert your hook into this loop. Yarn over and pull your yarn through this 1 loop only. You're going to have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull your yarn through 2 loops. Here it is. So this is your first cluster of 3 puff stitches. We're going to have another cluster of 3 puff stitches. So for that, loosen up your work here. Have 1 puff stitch here, 1, 2, and 3. Skip your next puff stitch, go to this space and have another puff stitch, 1, 2, and 3. Skip this next puff stitch and go to this space and have another 3 puff stitch here. So it's 1, 2, and 3. And here it is. And now yarn over and pull your yarn through all of your this 19 loops. Hold your this yarn here. You're going to create a little loop here. We're going to insert our hook into this little loop. Yarn over and grab your yarn through 1 loop only. Yarn over and pull your yarn through 2 loops. And this is your second cluster of this 3 puff stitches. Here it is. It looks like this. It is the same from both the sides, so it doesn't matter what side you have been working on. There is no front or back side for this one. So here it is. And now we're going to have another cluster of 3 puff stitches. That's going to be our third last cluster of our this 3 puff stitches. So for that, again, have 3 yarn overs here, 1, 2, and 3. This is your first puff stitch. Skip here this next puff stitch, go to this space and have another 3 puff stitch, 1, 2, another 3 yarn overs. So this is your another puff stitch. Again, skip this next puff stitch and you're going to have your next space here, and we're going to have our this last puff stitch here. So it's 1, 2, and 3. And here it is. You're going to have your this 19 loops, and now yarn over and pull your yarn through all of your this 19 loops, creating a little loop here. Insert your hook into this loop, yarn over, grab your yarn through 1 loop only. You're going to have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull your yarn through 2 loops. And this is your third cluster of this round, round number 5, and it looks like this. Here it is. And now for your round number 6, we're going to have one cluster, only one cluster of 4 puff stitches. Now it's going to be difficult for only one hook to work like this. So for that, we're going to use this another hook. So I'm going to use this another hook. This is another 3.5 mm of the hook. If you can see it, this is another hook with 3.5 mm. So this is the same size, and I'm going to use my this another hook here. So for that, here it is. For my 4 puff stitches, we're going to have one cluster only with 4 puff stitches. So here it is. Just loosen up your work and have 1 puff stitch here. So it's 1, 2, and 3. Do not finish your work. Skip this next puff stitch, go to this space and have 3 yarn overs here. It's 1, 2, and 3. So you got your this 2 puff stitches here. Leave your this 2 puff stitches here. Do not take out your this hook, just leave it here like this, and we will skip over this next puff stitch. Have your this next hook, just turn your hook like this and insert your hook into this next space and grab your yarn. So this is your 2 loops on your this next hook. Here it is, and here we're gonna yarn over for 3 times. So it's 1, 2 and 3. Yarn over and go to this next space. So we're gonna skip over this next puff stitch and we will insert our hook into this space here. So it's 1, 2 and 3. Here it is. And now we will yarn over and we will pull our yarn through all of these loops here. So we got our this 12 loops here on our this second hook. Yarn over and pull your yarn through all of your this loops. Here it is. And now we will take out this hook and we will grab our this loop and we will pull this loop, just holding up my this yarn like this. And now here grab this loop and pull it through remaining 2 puff stitches. So here it is. It looks like this. So this is just a little trick. If you can find your this 4 puff stitches on your this only 1 hook, is completely all right. But if you are finding it difficult, you can use this 2 hooks. So here it is. And now level up your this yarn, tighten up your this work a little bit, insert your this hook into this loop here like this, yarn over and pull your yarn through 1 loop only. Again, I'm going to tighten up my work a little, and here it is. Now yarn over and pull your yarn through 2 loops, and here it is. And our round number 6 is done. And now for your round number 7, our round number 7 is going to be our last round. And for our round number 7, we're going to have one cluster of 5 puff stitches. And that's going to be only one cluster with 5 puff stitches, and that's going to be little difficult with 1 hook, but as we are using these 2 hooks together, so here it is. Again, we're going to use the same trick. So we're going to loosen up our work a little bit, yarn over and go to this space and have 1 puff stitch here, 1, 2 and 3, yarn over, skip this next puff stitch, go to this space and have another puff stitch here. So it's 1, 2 and 3. Again, we will skip over this next puff stitch and we'll find our space here, yarn over and have another 1 puff stitch here. So it's 1, 2 and 3. So here it is. We got our 3 puff stitch here. Leave your this hook here and we're going to use our this second hook. So again, insert your this hook like this, turn your hook, and now insert your this hook into this next space. So skip your this next puff stitch, go to this next space and grab a yarn. So this is your first yarn over, your second yarn over, and your this third yarn over. Again, skip this next puff stitch and into this next space have another 3 yarn over. So it's 1, 2 and 3. So this is your 5th puff stitch. Yarn over and pull your yarn through both puff stitches just like this. Here leave your this hook and we will go to this first hook. Just gonna tighten up my this loop on here so that I can easily grab it. And now pull your this loop through your this remaining puff stitches. Here. And now this is our loop. You can always tighten up your work here and just insert your hook into this loop, tighten up your work, again yarn over and pull your yarn through this 1 loop only, yarn over and pull your yarn through 2 loops, and this is your last single crochet. Here it is, and it looks like this. Now our ball is almost ready and we're gonna fill our this ball with soft toy feeling. So for that, just gonna open up it a little bit and you can open this one up. And I'm not going to have too much of this soft toy filling, just gonna make a ball out of it and we'll stuff this one. If you find it difficult, you can always use your twisters. Here it is, and just insert your this stuffing inside. Here it is, and now again we will tighten up our work. I'm here and I will insert this hook somewhere here, and we'll grab the yarn and we'll make a slip stitch here. And now I'm going to chain up 30. So it's 1, 2, 3, 28, 29 and 30. So here it is. I got my this 30 chains here, and I will go to this next chain here. So this is the chain. I'm going to insert this hook into this chain, and we'll grab the yarn and we'll make a slip stitch here. Here it is. And now cut your yarn and secure this last stitch, and I'm gonna have needle here. And for this my last chain, I'm just gonna gather everything together here like this, and here it is. Your loop is ready. Hide this end in, and now we will have one little knot here. Here it is. And now hide this end in. Here it is, and we will cut our yarn. And now we are going to create this tassel here. And now for the tassel, just have your yarn, and I'm going to round up my yarn around my fingers. So I'm just going to have my yarn around my fingers, and my fingers are going to be just like this, and have about 10 rounds here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Here it is. And now just cut your yarn here. Take out this tassel, and I'm gonna cut another little piece of yarn here. And now simply just gonna insert this piece of yarn here, and I'm gonna tie up this tassel. So here it is. Tie up this one, and now I'm gonna have this yarn, and I will have my yarn around this tassel here. So just have a little longer piece so that it will count in your tassel, and just have your yarn around your tassel for about 6 times. It depends on you. So here it is. It's just like this, and I think it's gonna be all right. So I'm just gonna cut a little longer piece here, and I'm gonna have a needle here. And now I'm gonna make a little knot here to secure this yarn. Here it is. And now take out this yarn on the top here, and now we will hide this knot into this rounds. Here it is. And now again go some other way around, and just take out this yarn to the bottom. So here it is. Here. And now just have this ball, and we will go to the down. So here it is. This is the top part. We will go to the down in here, and somewhere here we will insert over this needle and we will take out over this tassel here. You can have a knot here if you want. So tie up with this tassel here, just on the bottom. Make sure it's at the bottom, and here it is. Tie up a knot. You can have a couple of knots here. And now we will first hide over this ends inside our this jasmine ball. So for that we're going to need our needle and simply just insert your this ends in like this. The other one as well, and we're going to cut our yarn. Here it is, and now we will cut over this tassel at the bottom. So here, have with the scissors and cut your tassel at the bottom. Just like this, and now we can trim over this edges. Here it is. And here it is. Your jasmine ball is ready. Here it is. It looks like this. And I hope you have liked my today's tutorial. If you have liked, please like, share and comment on my videos, and please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you into the next video. Till then, bye.